things have gone pretty much as bad as they probably could. The only saving thing that came out of last time is that Toji isn't technically dead, but in my view, he is. I don't know how they plan to approach that and what they plan to do with it. I said before, it feels like one of those things, it's a missed opportunity to keep him alive here. So it almost is like they have to have a reasoning that keeping him alive is more impactful probably towards Shinji or any of the other kids. Or they have another purpose for what they're going to do with it, which I guess we'll end up seeing probably here as the, aftermath of what ends up happening and the feelings and things that come out of a lot of our characters here after seeing this, especially Shinji having to firsthand be the one who is actually involved in this and the one who did this, even though he technically didn't do it. It's weird, and I feel kind of bad for him. So we'll have to see, I guess, how that gets handled, what the plans are a little bit more going forward. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you like it all, hit the like and subscribe to mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion on the comments of this episode or series. Let's go on with episode 19. Pick up right where we left off. He did say that he'd rather be the one than... That's crazy. Tried to make me responsible for his own actions. Damn. Damn, what the fuck? I look so crazy in the daylight. She definitely enters some weird states, so I don't know if she considers those to be dreams, though. I wonder what was going on his end while that whole thing was occurring. Once again with the she gets to see him. I think so. I don't really know what happened or where I am, but shit, I see him alive. Damn. Yeah. Close his eyes for a second and open them and everything changed. Right, of course. No, he does not. Aw. Did she bring something? Oh, okay. What they got, bro? Locked up? Oh my god. It's crazy how he's literally talking to a murderer right here. Bro, what did you do? You're a criminal. Back to the beginning.
お前には失望した。もう会うこともあるまい。
はい、そのつもりです。
I have no intentions of seeing you anymore. This is gonna weigh on him like crazy. Erase as in him from the unit and everything that we've kind of uploaded through to it, or erase him as in his person and his existence? Well, his dad definitely bought it too. He didn't think it was no bluff. Because he already went through and started moving forward with things. That means there's an opening for you. It's crazy that everyone's saying this to him. Right, you had it all. You know how many people would kill to be in your position? Not many, to be honest, but probably just one.
出てこないでしょうね。
ええ、よろしくとも言ってなかったわ。
彼女らしいです。安心しました。
But see, she's the same.
これから先辛いわ。
なぜ当時なんですか、フォースチルドレンが。
第4次選抜候補者はすべてあなたのクラスメートだったのよ。私も最近知ったわ。すべて仕組まれていたことだ。あなたに自分の夢、願い、目的を重ねていたわ。それがあなたの重荷になってるのも知ってる。でも私たちはネルフのみんなはあなたに未来を託すしかなかったのよ。それだけは覚えておいてね。
勝手な言い分ですよね。
Yep.
それは分かってるわ。
Absolutely.
本部までのパスコードとあなたの部屋はそのままにしておくから。
無駄ですよ。片付けておいてください。
I have no intentions of returning.
僕はもうエヴァには乗りません。
I doubt that heavily, but we'll see.
初めてね、こんなの。
That very different than what happened the last time you ran, right? Like extremely different. As you're right on the line to be able to return back and actually do something, present possible deaths and harm to plenty of others, but instead you're sitting in a situation here where you're leaving, right? You're running away from it. Ugh. Does it look like that, dude? This one looks weird. That's kind of crazy. Let's put Asuka at harm. Saying that they'll only let Shinji pilot it. That's the feeling I'm getting here. A rejection unless it's him. That's insane. Why did you run back? Not at the station no more. Some of these explosions are pretty fucking sick. Hey, if that's what you gotta tell yourself to do it, I'm here for it. Why does it look like that? I don't like the design. All out attack, that's her. You remove somebody like Shinji, so now it like really all falls on her. What the fuck? I love the reflection that they had there in the water. She's gonna run at it? You want anything to fight with? He's gonna reject it. Ah, shit. We're building it that Shinji has to come back, and if he doesn't, we're gonna lose some people or things in the process, right?
少し頼む。
What are you gonna do? Go fucking find Shinji and yell at him? Wow, what a sight! You wanna die? If you return, you might have that death wish.
カジさん
What are you doing out
何
here?
やってるんですかこんなところで。
それはこっちのセリフだよ。
That was my line, hold on.
僕はもうエヴァには乗らないから
Alright.
決めたから。
戦闘配置に俺の居場所はなくなったんだ。以来ここで水をまいてる。
こんな時にですか。
こんな時だからだよ。葛城の胸の中もいいが、やはり死ぬ時はここにいたいからね。
What a fucking line.
この地下に眠るアダムと接触すれば、人は全て滅びると言われている。サードインパクトでね。それを止められるのは人と同じ力を持つエヴァンゲリオンだけだ。
So a power that's equal to it, likely something made up of the same. Removing Adam from them, but likely after what they're after too. It seems like it. Oh my god, right. What the fuck? It's standard. No, it's not.
なんてこと。
俺はここで水をまくことしかできない。だが君には君にしかできない。君にならできる。
Brother. You're not wrong, but brother.
自分で考え、自分で決めろ。自分が今何をすべきなのか。まあ、後悔のないようにな。
Still, the way you worded it, it's almost like he doesn't have a choice. Worded it in a way that he will have regrets no matter what. And for the second time, we come to return.
最終走行版誘拐。まずい。乗せてください。僕をこの初号機に乗せてください。どうぞ。
This is an extreme onto what he was at before too, though. From running the first time, but now actually seeing the consequences of you not being there.
僕はエヴァンゲリオン初号機のパイロット碇シンジです。
Oh my god.
エヴァ初号機シンジ君。
As he stands there and wow. Covered in it.
ミサトさん、5番車室急いで。
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. And now you're the one in control, enraged, doing the exact same things that the Deli Plug did before, right? When you had no control over it.
エネルギーが切れた。初号機活動限界です。予備も動きません。シンジ君。 シンジ君。
What is that? I can't get through it.
死んじゃうんだ。もうそんなの嫌なんだよ。だから動いてよ。
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Power on. And it takes over on its own. Was that us making that noise? No.
すごい。まさか信じられません。初号機のシンクロ率が 400% を超えています。やはり目覚めた。彼女が。
It seems like it. On off. Oh my god. The human like arm and everything going out of it. Oh, that's a frightening sight. Brother. Okay, the full awakening.
あれは装甲板ではないの。エヴァ本来の力を私たちが抑え込むための高速部なの。その呪縛が今自らの力で解かれていく。私たちにはもうエヴァの
Oh, fuck, as Kaji just stands there.
精霊に黙っちゃいません。これもシナリオのうちですが、いかにしろ。始まったな。ああ、すべてはこれからだ。
I think it was. The awakening of Unit 1 has begun. And boy, was that kind of terrifying. Was that... It was great, though. It was fantastic. Everything that I think anybody could have wanted kind of went into this. The last few episodes have been nothing short of amazing, especially the last one and this one. And this episode alone, with the action sequences and just the overall production and a lot of the different decisions and stuff that we'll talk about as we flash through the episode a little bit more, were really stand out. The explosions where like you could feel them. They're very impactful. They're very vibrant, the way that they were drawn. The blood splattering absolutely everywhere, the ability or the choice to frame certain characters within things, within certain shots, and have them overlooking the things that are occurring. So good. I mean, we even get to see Gendo at one point with the blood just splattered all over him, right? It's like, oh, there's some of them were so good. And then a bunch of other just little moments of just, you know, Shinji basically being the same thing that we had in the version of the Eva that got absorbed basically by the dummy plug last episode, and had that take over in the way that attacked Unit 3. And being able to see him essentially act out and be that person on his own this episode without that actually happening. And then also going through a character arc with him throughout the entirety of it, everything that led him up for, you know, 18 episodes now up to this point that leads him to getting here. And then him kind of tearing himself down completely and removing himself from the situation, not wanting to stand by and be kind of abused and used anymore by Nerve, by his father, and wanting to separate himself entirely from this. And holding its ground, which I think it was an awesome way for them to begin it and really kind of showcase how far he's almost come. This is somebody who quit initially the first time that he did not act this way at all. And he's very different. Masato even points out, you know, he's changed. Something about him is different. He's very stern. He's very serious with what he's kind of doing here. And he's letting them know basically, like, I'm not just going to let you use me. I'm not going to let you, you know, pull some shit like that again and harm these people who are extremely close to me and take over and remove all power and everything that I can do while I'm in this unit. I'm not going to be used like that. Like, we're not doing that. We have to be on the same page if we want to do these things. And you won't even bother to listen to me. This person that he's been for so long been like, I just need the praise of this person. I'm going to keep doing all this stuff for his dad. And then look where he ends up leaving it, right? Look the path that he kind of takes him down. It's like, you can't do that. And he was very stern with the way that he approached it and letting him know, like, he will not continue to work for him. He will not continue to do these things if he's going to act like that, if he's going to force him to do this. And his father wants nothing to do with it, constantly being reinforced by him, by everybody else involved, that he is running away, letting him know that he has like these responsibilities and these things that he needs to do. And he always just runs away from hardship. He always runs away from these things that aren't the most pleasant thing for him, right? Getting told that by Ray as well. It's a constant reminder. It's a thing that we've seen consistently as well. Not just necessarily running away, while that has been a constant theme, but more of theme that was initially brought up, the line in episode 1 when we start talking about, you know, that he is a man and he needs to do this, right? Like, aren't you a man? Asuka asked that a bunch of him. Masato's asked that a bunch, and that can kind of get applied here to running away. It's almost like he has this responsibility and this duty and this understanding that everybody has of him, due to him being a man, or them trying to frame him as one, to make him feel like he has to do this, and this is just the natural way. This is what anybody else in his position would do, and it's the right thing for him to do. And constantly kind of manipulating him a little bit and brainwashing him a bit into believing this is the proper route to go, that anybody else wouldn't run away, that I'm the weak one, I'm the pathetic one for doing that, when in reality it's not the case at all. But everybody keeps reinforcing these ideas into him, and then finally we get to see him kind of break through and see things clearly this episode. The biggest problem comes in when he gets to end up seeing, you know, the consequences of his actions of leaving and not wanting to pilot, and the things that are happening to everybody else, when the angel actually comes and attacks in this moment, which is not, you know, a pretty thing for anyone to say. It's not a great sight, and he gets to see that's the initial thing that got him in and made him want to do it in the first place. Having to hold Ray, right? Having to see the blood basically be on his hands, having to understand that he could be the one that, or he would have to live with the idea that he could have prevented this, but instead he chose to run and chose to not pilot this unit, right? And then we get to see that reinforced once again here. We're running from this situation instead of doing this that I'm very capable of, as Kaji ends up telling him, you know, you have something that you can do, you can make a difference in this situation, yet you choose not to. Not telling him, okay, you need to go back and do it, but more so just letting him know, like, you do have that choice, but at the same time, there is something that you can do while I'm hopeless and I have to just kind of sit around here and water these plants, and there's nothing else that I can do or anywhere that I can be in this moment. Besides that, letting him know, like, buddy, you gotta make a decision here. You gotta do something. And it kind of gets more into his head as he ends up seeing it. You know, I have all these people around me. I have the ability to save many lives. I have the ability to do all this stuff, but yet here I am running from this constantly. And then all the things that get piped in from everybody else that he's been hearing, you know, the entire episode here and everything leading up to this point just comes to life. And he's like, yeah, you know, you're kind of right. I probably should go back. I probably should do this, but for good reason, right? Then now finding not the reason that he was doing this for his father's sake, for the praise that he could possibly get of him, for the build of relationship and everything they could possibly have as a result, but more so these are people who are, you've seen their faces, you know things about them, you actually care for them, you've been in battle with them, you've spent time with them, you live with some of them, right? Like, there's very important things about each of these people who are possibly getting extremely injured and losing their lives in the process of the decision that you are kind of making. And he ends up finding that resolve, right, to go back and actually fight and figure out that he wants to be the pilot of this unit, and that this is actually his true calling, right? This is why he's doing it. It has nothing to do with any of the other reasons that he's been trying to almost tell himself, or other people have been kind of telling him, you know, what he is here to do. Finding that thing and that purpose for himself, I think, is excellent. And it's really good because it's something so simple, and it's something that's been laid out for us since the first episode. And of course, it was going to continue to evolve as he met more and more people. But understanding, you know, that without you doing this, we're going to lose many lives. With you doing this, we may also, but it's going to be, you know, a lot less. And unless you're the one taken out in the situation, and we have nobody else who can come in and pilot and help us out in the process, it's probably better for you to be involved here and you to do this. It's just, it sucks the way that they kind of treat him and have forced him into doing this. It's like your one hope, it's your one savior. Clearly he's more capable, or his unit at least is more capable than everybody else's so far. So the fact that, you know, we're treating him the way that we still are, instead of allowing him to understand, you know, the severities of all the situations and everything that he's kind of in here and how needed he really is a little, I guess, weird to me. But I guess it makes sense, because if you kind of just treat him perfectly and give him absolutely everything and make him feel like he's somebody special, he almost gets like too big of a head. He becomes somebody like Asuka who believes that like she's needed, and then instead of focusing on like actually making things right and defeating things and doing all these good things, she's more so focused how others are kind of looking at her in a lot of those situations. I mean, we even get to see, again, we saw it last episode, she was like so worried and focused on Shinji in the, you know, way that other people saw him, and it costed, you know, herself in that fight that they had. And that once again, we have another angel in this situation, she's talking and thinking about him in that moment, as opposed to actually just focusing up on what she needs to do in a strategy for her to fight, and it cost her almost her life here this again. So she really gotta kind of lock in, and he really is that special one that they kind of need here. The other really big thing ends up coming from the awakening that we really do get, seeing the arm and then like the legs and everything else, and we're walking on fours. This unit, the restricted version of kind of what's coming out of our unit here, is really wild. It definitely is something like we've kind of been aware has the opportunity to happen, knowing that the angels seem to be some sort of mixture of, or not angels, but the Avas seem to be some sort of mixture of mechanical things kind of mixed with angel, that might also have something to do with human in some sort of way. So there's living creature kind of part of this. I mean, we get to see that as early as the second episode when the head falls off the damn thing and kind of looks at us with those eyes, and you get to see it's like a little, you know, creepy, but we get to see that fully come to light here. Something that apparently Gendo was anticipating. Well, I don't know if he was anticipating in this fashion and the way that it actually came about. He definitely knew that the restricted versions of these things that we kind of had, containing them within this and not allowing them to kind of break free and unleash their full power, would actually happen at one point and would be awoken, and something would come as a result of it that would probably lead us to our climax, or the things that we actually are getting to at this point, which is a little scary going forward now, because I don't know if we can re-restrict this, if we can, you know, put all the arms and legs and everything back in and make it go back and then, you know, use this unit again, or if something happens and it just fully absorbs Shinji at this point and he's like stuck inside of this big angel beast thing and they have to go up against it. Like, I don't know what comes of this, and I guess we'll end up seeing how that plays out a little bit more, but it's definitely extremely creepy, and it's definitely something to really worry about. I mean, Ritsuko literally called it she, which I think just adds so much more to implementation of something regarding Shinji's mother, whether it be, you know, soul or personality, or literally just her being experimented on in some sort of way, or just like vessel of body, or like whatever it is, something kind of being related to this. Being a part of this would also explain, you know, the soul almost coming out and reaching out and touching Shinji in these moments too. It all comes together, I think, quite nicely here, and makes plenty of sense, but there's still plenty of unanswered questions, or just really like laid out and explained, that we have to kind of wait on to understand the makeups of this and how this all ended up coming about. But it also adds to the fact that Gendo is clearly well aware of this, and I don't know if the UN is at all, and likely probably not. And if they're not, what was his intentions with this, right? The fact that we were restricting these things, he was trying to create and maximize the ability and talent of them before they end up becoming out, right? Before you end up having these awakenings actually happen. Was he planning at some point to build these things up to be extremely strong and then have this backup option almost, like, so that they can come out and take over and help him achieve whatever these goals and things that he possibly was after? I don't know. Actually, I have no idea. I mean, we get to see how much they're really capable of, so it'd be interesting to see. But we still got so many questions with him that we have to learn about, that I'm assuming will be saved for probably the real close to the end of the series. A little bit of what occurs afterwards. Shinji not very happy at all. Father ended up trying to kill him, right? Almost killed Toji. You had the opportunity to stop. You had the opportunity to let me control and do all this, and instead you chose this other path. Why are you doing this, you know? And instead, his father getting completely mad, eliminating him from the situation there. It's like, yeah, do you think now when you reflect on it, you know, what you thought about before, he was the one who killed the mother and all these rumors and things that you were seeing, are you starting to think that there's a real possibility to that? Because I am. I'm getting that feeling more and more, that that's definitely not something that's wrong. This is just such crazy visuals that we get to see here as they have to look onto this. Rei apparently not dreaming. I mean, would add more to her just being some sort of lab creation, empty vessel almost of a person that's kind of forming as time goes on here. I mean, plus we've also seen her in her weird states of dream. It's like she goes into. I don't know what this whole scene was. You guys can explain that if you want. Like, I actually don't know what happened here. Wakes up, she sees Shinji, then the next time he wakes up, he's not there anymore, and I'm assuming that just means that time passed. So I'm assuming he fell asleep and he was dreaming of a moment in a situation like this, but I don't know how he overheard or thought of this conversation, what the makeup of this was supposed to be that he was kind of looking on to. I mean, it makes sense with, you know, Rei saying some absolute bullshit here of him not trying to understand his father and all that. It's like, fuck your father's feelings, dude. Like, look what he's putting you through and doing. He's a terrible person. Absolutely awful. I don't care. I don't get it. But Waking back up, of course, Shinji not here, days and days on end pass, and we're able to get, unless that wasn't like his own dream, unless he wasn't having that, but we did see him looking onward into them, so like it would make sense that it is. Class rep shows up, of course, can't bring her lunch or anything, you hate to see it, but it is sweet of her to kind of be here. I still don't understand the reason why Toji's still here and alive, but I guess we'll maybe explore that a little bit more as time goes on, when we have Shinji completely locked up talking about his criminal offenses and all these things he did. Like, bro, you are literally out here killing people, manipulating, brainwashing others, torturing basically, and instead he's the criminal. And I like how he like talks about we'll never meet again, and that he disappoints him and stuff if he plans to leave, and he's holding strong on it. That's my intention. I have no intention to ever see or meet with you at all again. Shinji kind of just going through the motions, packs up, finds out and hears things from plenty of other people. I want it to be like you. Yeah, you're the only one who wants to actually pilot this thing. Nobody else wants to fucking do that. I think that's an insane statement for him to make there. Masato shows up. We have this final conversation once again here. It's entirely different than how this kind of went before here. Just acknowledging how much he's changed. Him also acknowledging like, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with this decision I made, until of course the angel attack, and then he can't help but feel like, oh fuck, it's happening. It's happening, and it's not going to go well. Ray gets completely rejected by the unit. The dummy plug gets rejected by the unit. Nothing will happen. Unit 1 will only operate with Shinji at this point. I think also still adds more theory to, or more to the theory of this kind of having some relation with his mother, and only wanting to kind of connect or be a part of him. Some really cool explosions that we keep getting throughout this. Other ones here again, with these ones being all purple and stuff. And then once again, just to constantly keep referencing it, all of the almost cross-like the things that we kind of get here with every single explosion. It seems like we're getting Asuka immediately going into the fight. Things are not absolutely working. She's struggling and struggling until it just, this is such a sick shot as it pulls off her arms here, getting the straight reflection into the water there. That's the clearest water I've ever fucking seen. And just having all the purple goo spew out of it. Ugh. Shinji sitting here in horror of having to hear and all the rumbles and everything go on around him, knowing that these people are in harm, knowing that he could be the one fighting there and he should be the one out there fighting and be a part of this. And Asuka at this point too, completely out of it, still just charges for absolutely no reason and gets annihilated by this thing. Shinji looks on in the horror as he ends up seeing even Rei go out of her way here in this moment. But before that, a little talk here with Kaji. In the end, I want to be here when I die. Something peaceful for him to be a part of. It's nice for him. There's probably more into this I'm not reading into or fully kind of getting. We find out that the angels are kind of basically going after Adam, which was my original assumption of this. Well, we didn't necessarily have him to my knowledge, so it definitely was a little weird that we had to go out of our way and retrieve him from where he was. So what they were trying to attack before that, I'm not actually sure of, but maybe they were, and maybe there's other things and stuff that I'm misremembering here, but it seems like they're trying to go after Adam and make contact with him, and any contact that kind of comes with him will result in our kind of third disaster thing that we don't really need to happen here. It's not a great thing for us to be a part of, so we're trying to at all costs kind of avoid that from actually occurring. Still don't know what the purpose of us having Adam here is. Is it just to lure out all the angels and stop all these things from kind of coming? Maybe there's like a certain point where they're not going to be able to attack anymore, that they only have so many. I don't know, but we end up seeing here Rei goes after it, basically trying to self-destruct and suicide bomb this thing, which is insane and does not work at all. No weapon or anything at all. Kaji kind of just lays it down for him. Well, like, this is the realest way and probably best way that he can lay on this conversation, letting him know that he doesn't want him to have any regrets about what he does, letting him know that he does have a purpose or a reason that he can be doing this, that he is the only one that can be doing this. It also still reads to me very like brainwashy, almost like very like, here, let me use everything I have against you to convince you that this is the right thing for you to be doing, but then tell you, oh, I'm not trying to lead you into thinking that, but it's like everything that you did in the process basically led him into thinking that. So it still comes off entirely like that, but I guess no matter what he ended up saying in the moment, probably would have came off that way anyways. And it was a bit more toned down and a bit more, I guess, real, it felt like, right? It didn't feel like we had too many ulterior motives to the things that we're saying or leading him into believing here. More so just letting him know, like, yeah, this is all literal factual things, and I just don't want you to keep running from this and then regret knowing that you could have saved all these people along the way, knowing that you know that you could have done this, and instead you kind of run from it, which forced him to change his mind and decide, I have to pilot this. Running in, shocking everybody. I like how his dad doesn't really press him here because he's pretty much well aware, like, yeah, we need you. Things are at the end, and he had absolutely nothing that he could do at this point. Shinji loses it completely. I love us going up against this and throwing him against here and then flying up with it. So cool. Completely going berserk in this moment, losing it on his own end too. Doing everything that we see from the previous episode, right? Everything that he wasn't in control of is essentially what he's in control of now, which I think is fucking awesome. And I wonder if that has something to do with even the dummy plug taking over, being maybe makeups and personalities and stuff of the person, reaching these deepest parts of this person, somebody like Shinji, of what he possibly could be capable of when it comes to combat and what he could be capable of with his own anger and everything that could come to life here. And it's almost manifested all of that. And now here we are again in this situation where we get to see that as the actual person. Till we run out of power and it's unable to completely break this core, and he doesn't know what to do. And of course we end up breaking out. We get the power. It goes a little bit rogue here. So I'm assuming this is what all the going rogue and everything that we were having before. And a lot of those moments was the angel kind of going past, or the Ava and the angel kind of within it going past its own limits and trying to break free of the hold that it found itself in, and then being unsuccessful, of course, because it gets shut down at a certain point and gets restricted even more. At this point, it doesn't matter that we break free. We got the white teeth and everything on it. We fuse an arm of an angel together. It starts eating it at some point. It makes its own arm in the way that it crawls. Straight feral, dude. Like, this is insane. Actually horrifying to see. Very, very disturbing moments. Kaji looking on with a smile. I can't tell if that's just proud that this dude ended up coming forward here and actually doing it, or if he's got something else kind of going on. But it begins here. Seems we're well aware of it. And then the use of just black and white for the ED too. Awesome. Pretty sick episode, if I do say so. It was very fun. The fighting was great. The explosions and the effects and everything of it was great. Straight awesome reveals that we had. Great character arc that Shinji kind of went through. One of, if not the best things that we've kind of had the entire show so far. And I thought it was fantastic. So I hope you guys did as well. If you liked it all, the like and subscribe. Do mean a lot to me. Feel free to check out the videos and channel. Leave comments about this episode or series. I will be back for episode 20 very soon. I hope you guys have a great one. Peace.